So Jacksepticeye a few days ago uploaded a video announcing that he has autism. He was only formally diagnosed recently, so it's not like this was a secret he kept for years like what was the case with me. And I gotta say, it's really nice to see a YouTuber of his stature having no problem talking about this. He touched up on this in his video, and this is what inspired me to make this video, where he initially announced his diagnosis on, I believe, Twitter, and he got some replies saying, "Why would you announce something like this?" Like he was announcing something terrible, like he stabbed someone's dog one time or some shit. And I've seen some screenshots of people saying disrespectful shit regarding this. I personally have not seen this on Twitter myself because I don't look at that shithole anymore. Blue sky supremacy. But there was one Neanderthal I saw in one of these screenshots that said something along the lines of, "It seems like everyone has autism these days. It's almost like it's trendy to say you have autism because if all of these people really did have autism, they wouldn't be talking about it." Now, I made a whole video, I think last year, about e-detective assholes claiming other people that they have never ever fucking spoken to are faking being autistic. So I'm not gonna get too much into that here, but when it comes to people wanting neurodivergent people to shut up about their disorders, I just say too fucking bad. When it comes to me, I like talking about being autistic on this channel sometimes because it's just cathartic. I don't feel like I'm placing myself on a pedestal or trying to be popular or any other stupid shit like that. Being autistic affects my day-to-day life. I've had trouble socializing for pretty much my entire life. Everything I do every day has to be meticulously planned, done at certain times. And should anything come up spontaneously that breaks my routine, I have trouble coping with that. Those are just two examples of how autism affects my daily life. And when something impacts my life to the extent autism has, why shouldn't I be able to talk about it? Oh, because some assholes online get annoyed by that? Well, I say fuck them. For far too long, we've been told to just shut up and conform to a world we feel out of step with, and to just quote-unquote be normal. Being neurodivergent isn't this dirty, taboo subject and shouldn't be viewed as such. It is part of the makeup of millions of people in this world and affects the day-to-day lives of these millions of people in various ways. And I personally don't like being autistic because of how it has impacted me, but at the same time, I still like talking about my autism because it is a release. For several years before 2023, I didn't say a word about my autism online. I think on several occasions I even told people online, "Oh no, I'm not neurodivergent," because I felt a level of self-hatred regarding being neurodivergent. I felt like I wasn't normal. Autism was popular to use as a pejorative online for a long time, so that even further stigmatized it for me and made me feel even more ashamed for having it. And I still struggle with self-acceptance when it comes to being neurodivergent. I just made a video about this like a month ago. But I will say I still do accept it a hell of a lot more than I did years ago because I don't lie to people anymore. I don't bury this part of myself like I used to. It's not healthy to bottle up something that has affected you for pretty much your entire fucking life. And it's especially frustrating that 9 times out of 10 the people who say shit like "stop talking about your autism," "you're not special," "no one cares," are people who are not neurodivergent themselves. You can't relate to the people you're railing so hard against for a single goddamn second, yet somehow you know that their disorders are so insignificant that they're not worth talking about. Here is my philosophy. If you can't relate to neurodivergent people one iota, yet they place such a stick up your ass and you can't be fucked to learn more about what it is like to be neurodivergent, then don't pay them any mind. We simply want to make our experiences known and help remove the stigma surrounding being autistic that the douchebags, like the ones I'm talking about in this video, help perpetuate. If you don't want to listen, you're more than free to not listen, but going like, "Shh, don't talk about your autism, no one wants to hear about it, and you're not cool for simply sharing your experience when it comes to being neurodivergent," only helps keep negative social stigma surrounding being neurodivergent well and alive, and that may not impact you, which is why you don't care, but it impacts me and it impacts every other neurodivergent person you want to keep in a box. And it doesn't help that the perception surrounding autism by the general public is still very fucked. There are still a lot of people who hear you have autism and immediately think you're someone who needs to be infantilized because they think of autism as that one disorder that makes you stupid and act like a child. And they think every autistic person is the stereotype where they're nonverbal, always stimming. And I've heard this before, and Jack even brought this up in his video, where if you're on the higher end of the spectrum and you bring up that you have autism, spectrum, someone may say something like, "Oh, but you're so articulate, you seem normal. I would have never guessed that you're autistic." Shit like that is why neurodivergent people need to have their voices heard more, to prove that we're not a monolith. We have our quirks, obviously, but by and large, we're not all that removed from everyone else. Anyway, to close out this video, there was something that Jack said in his video that stuck with me. There is a likelihood that a very large amount of content creators online are probably on the spectrum, whether they know it or not. And I never really thought about that, but it makes so much sense. I love expressing myself on YouTube, while in real life I'm the complete fucking opposite. I feel a sense of security when I make these videos. I make them in the comfort of my own room. I can communicate with people without actually having to deal with people. And I've said this so many times before, but this channel for the past 10 years has been a major outlet for me. It is largely how I express myself to the world. And that's why I felt it was important to share on this channel that I have autism, because since this channel is how I express myself by and large, it wouldn't make sense to continue to hide something that has made such an impact in my day-to-day life for pretty much my entire life, and that goes against how I view this channel. But with all that said, thank you Jacksepticeye for this video. I hope your video inspires many more neurodivergent people to not be silent about this part of themselves, because there is no reason to be silent about being neurodivergent. And it's so refreshing seeing someone with such a large platform having no qualms about sharing this part of himself with his audience and helping destigmatize even further being neurodivergent. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.